Hi everyone, how you going? It's Louise here with my 144. This week we're talking about mindset. So what can I say about mindset? So who does mindset, how does it affect us? So it affects all of us because we all have a mindset. A mindset really is about the thinking thoughts and feelings that can predispose us to certain behaviour, and the behaviours then can predispose us to certain things happening in our lives. So with mindset, there are many things that can happen, and many ways of changing that. And as I've mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned here, but anyway, I will mention that 90% of the thoughts that we have ideally are believed to come from the day before. So we can just sort of keep regurgitating, and we're going round and round and round, regurgitating, going through the same stuff, not actually being aware that really we are just in default. So if we want to start making changes in our life, then it's really important to us to look at what is the mindset that we're having and to change that mindset. So an example of a mindset that wouldn't work for someone and myself, I've done victim really well, and that's the mindset of victim. And really that's, by saying things like, well, it's my partner's fault, it's somebody else, they made me do it, it's the system, I'm a victim to my circumstances. When we're in that mindset, we're not actually taking any responsibility for the thoughts that we're having, the behaviors and the predispositions that we're having in our life. So we can have fixed mindsets, or we can have growth mindsets. There was a Dr. Dweck, Carol Dweck, who did a lot of research about growth mindsets and how that actually, played. I'll just talk about that soon. So, a fixed mindset is something that's sort of set in its tracks. It's not so much, it's not something that can be molded and changed because it's very fixed, and we can have that. We can be, raised in environments with mum and dad, and they've got their sort of limited beliefs, and then we end up taking on those limited beliefs, and then from there it can end up playing out and out and out. So a little story about mindset is about the fact that, when I was probably 12 or a teenager, I had battled with my weight. I was quite obsessed with my weight. I was pretty fixated on it, and I felt that I was ugly and horrible and just hated myself, full of self-loathing. And then one day I thought, this mindset isn't working for me. I'm just making myself really sick. I was becoming really fixated on things. So I decided to actually change that. And in changing that, I suddenly realized that, if people don't like me, or if they can't accept me for who I am, then they're not worth engaging with or having anything to do with. So with that, I then sort of let go of that. And from that moment on, my weight and how I was basically changed, and after that it was less of an issue. So the mindset can be very powerful. Things I've been working with the last few months have been working with mindset and just changing my value within myself, has then relayed into what's happening around me, what's happening in my relationships, what's happening in my business. Like everything from there will change from just changing your mindset. So, whether you're just looking at making statements on the back of my toilet door, I've got different statements that I repeat on a daily basis, and just finding things that work for you and resonate with you. And I'm happy to work with you one-on-one if that works for you as well. So, mind affects everybody. Just some little studies here that can help look at mindset. There was a Melbourne gentleman, I forget his name, who did a study about pianists, and he was teaching piano to primary school kids, and he was actually looking at, what is it that makes them excel. So he looked at, how many times they practice a week, but he also was looking at the mindset and the thought processes that they had. And what he discovered was the kids that sort of go in there, these little kindy kids that run in there, age is irrelevant here. It was the mindset that brought the results. So the children that went in there like, I'm going to be the best pianist ever, actually excelled some of the other students, something like 70%, which was pretty huge. So, once you've got that mindset in place, and then you start having some consistent action to back that up, then it could be a process of really getting some things happening here. So the reason I'm choosing to talk about mindset is because I want you guys to be your own leader, to be your own genius, to know that you're the master, and to allow your inner master to come out and to allow you to shine. So some of the studies that Carol Dweck did was looking basically at, you know, it's people. So she has a growth mindset. So she sort of termed the term growth mindset. So, you know, we do have the ability to make our brains and our neural functions to grow and to expand, and we can learn more. So, you know, tending to find people who will actually question themselves. So people with a growth mindset tend to more often be looking and questioning at what they're doing, how they're doing it, what, you know, if they make a mistake, it is a mistake. And then they just sort of take it again, looking at areas where they can improve. Whereas people who tend to not have that growth mindset will tend to quite easily point the finger at others and not look at their own journey through that. So, you know, people with a growth mindset can achieve 20% more than others. And, you know, with this belief that if we've got 90% of the same thoughts that are coming around and around again, it's no wonder that, you know, such a minimal percentage of people actually succeed. And when I succeed, I don't mean from a financial point of view, but I mean from a quality of life point of view. So, you know, we can have a mindset which can be quite masculine. A masculine mindset can be like smash it out, sort it out, fight your way through it, as opposed to a feminine way of actually doing that. And then there's also, we've been quite indoctrinated with a more masculine mindset. So from, I don't know, I'm not even going to put a date on it. So, but, you know, 5,000 years, I did put a date on it. You know, it's a long time ago, you know, there was the mindset of the masculine and the feminine working together. Whereas we've really pretty much adopted the logical, the fact that, you know, maths, English and all those sort of logical subjects, or, you know, whichever side of the brain it is, you know, becoming more of the mindset that we've followed. And we've tended to forget about the more creative, expressive art, music, singing sort of side of things. So that would be a mindset that I really would look at getting people to embrace a little bit more, especially, you know, people who want to have more fulfillment in their life and actually having some more means of expression and flow in their life as well. So the mindset that I like to look at is a positive goal orientated. So I tend to look at the positive side of things. So instead of saying this is what I don't want, I tend to look at what is it that I do want instead. So if that's not working for me, then it's a case of maybe not focusing my attention on that thing that's not working for me, because that's just going to make it escalate. And more so in this time and day and age, like we are on getting into a space of instant manifestation. So focusing on what it is that I want, what's the positive outcome, you know, who do I want to be surrounded like, what are the characteristics, what are these people like that I'm going to surround myself with, you know, like what do I want to be doing, you know, who do I want to be living with, hanging out with, you know, what work do I want to be doing. So positively, you know, looking at the positive things that I want and forgetting about what I don't want. And then also being goal orientated. So, you know, what steps do I need to do to get towards that? So I'm I'm a whiz at content. I'm the content queen. So I have heaps of strategies and heaps of practice. So someone, you know, with a more positive growth mindset is going to be someone who's going to be honoring the sleep process that they have. They're going to be honoring the nutrition that they give their body, and honoring the preciousness and honoring the human body as it is. And that's going to be part of that increasing the value that you have. And as you increase the value, you're going to change your mindset. So, you know, when we've got a positive growth mindset happening here, you know, there are strategies, there are disciplines, there are practices that we can do, and they can be simple and they don't have to be big. But there is some element of, if we want to have change in our life, then there is an element of actually needing to look at changing the way that we're doing things, because the way that we've been doing it isn't working. If it was working, then we wouldn't be wanting to change it. So I'm happy to help you with that. I do an 8-week program, coaching program called Liftoff Program. louiseplant.com.au/liftoff is that program. And then, you know, we can work one-on-one together. We work through the whole process. We just give you little practices, strategies, and they just become habits, because really mindset is habit. It is a habits that we have. It's what we do. But in having those habits and living that way, we then bring things to us which mirror that, as the law of attraction pretty much does. So if your mindset's not working for you, happy to help and support in any shape that you form. Look at doing some other things to look at changing that. You know, it's quite easy for us to get stuck in those sort of things. You know, pay attention to what's happening, pay attention to what you're doing, what's going on. You know, the first process of any change is validation and awareness to that, and look at changing that. If that's not working for you, but if it's working for you, fine, then keep trucking on, keep doing what you're doing. So have a fabulous time. We will catch you for the next subject of 144. This is subject 5. We'll see you next week for subject 6. So have a fabulous week, and I shall see you in health and in happiness. Louise Plant.